Hey y'all, Austin here with Outer World Media. Welcome back to another book review. This time we are reviewing Old Man's War by Mr. John Scalzi. Scalzi? I'm gonna go Scalzi. So just kind of get into it, what this book is about and whatnot. We're gonna set this here so we kind of have a visual of it. So essentially what this book is about, it takes place many, many years on down the line. Earth has started to colonize, in outer space and whatnot. And so what they're doing is they're taking recruits, but not just any recruits, people that are at the age of 75, who have life experience, who, trades, this and that. And so what they do is they take them and they put them in the CDF is what they call it. Essentially, it's like the outer space forces, military. But nobody really knows a whole lot about it here on Earth because they don't communicate. If you're on Earth, you don't communicate with people that are, in outer space and vice versa. And so we follow our main character, John Perry, who essentially he enlists in the CDF, and we just kind of follow him along with, his first run in the military, I guess is the best way to put it. Essentially what happens is they serve 2 years, and then once those 2 years are over, they're allowed to retire on a colony somewhere in outer space. But there's some caveats to it, like there is with any military presence. But again, we follow John and a group of, his friends and whatnot in this book. I will say there are parts that I didn't really enjoy. To be honest with you, there's one chapter in particular where essentially the whole chapter is talking about, just this, what they're doing on this ship before they get, go to boot camp or whatever. And it's just, it's like, I don't know the best way to put it, especially on YouTube, they're just sleeping with everybody and everything that they can. And that's just the whole chapter is kind of explaining that. So I really could have done without that, if I'm being honest. I really didn't expect to see that in a, science fiction book. But you know what? Well, I didn't enjoy it. I see what he's getting at. You have people that are older, and they're and whatnot. But again, this book, I did enjoy it. I will be continuing with the series. I really wish, the biggest nitpick that I have with this book is I wish that it was more in depth. I mean, it's about a 350 something page book, which is not, it's not a thin book. It's not a chunker. I wish we would have got more internal monologue, just kind of, I guess paced it a little bit slower so we could have seen a little bit more day-to-day life. I mean, because some of this book just is like that. You're here, then halfway through the chapter, you're here, a week down the line. So that's something I don't necessarily, was not my favorite. I'm not going to say that I hated it. Would I recommend reading this book? Yeah, I mean, it's a good read, especially for someone like me who's never been that big into science fiction and whatnot. I think it's a good introduction to trying this genre out and whatnot. Again, I did enjoy it. Don't let, like I said, that chapter and the pacing kind of ruin it for you. I would recommend reading this. Again, I would give it like a 3-star out of 5. Not bad, not good. It's good enough that I will continue to read it. The second book is kind of like this one as far as just kind of the things that I didn't necessarily like. I may not continue on with the series, but I like this one enough to continue on and try out the next book in the series eventually. But again, that's just kind of my review. I know it's not that long a review. Again, I don't have a whole lot to say about this book, but I wanted to get this out there. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of people talking about this series. I mean, I've looked and there's some videos out there, but just not a whole lot. But again, I did enjoy this book. So if you come across, I would recommend picking it up. It's not anything that's going to go over your head. Although there is a couple sections in this book that's kind of, if you've read a Michael Crichton or a Blake Crouch, science and explaining quantum physics and parallel universe and all that, there's a section in there that kind of gave me the feeling of that. When I first started this book, I couldn't, to put it honestly, I could kind of care less about the characters. I didn't think it was that interesting, but as we get further in the book, there's a couple of sections, that last third of the book I really enjoyed. And that's kind of what's kicking me to want to, go on to the next book in this series. But again, if you come across this book at a great price, I definitely recommend picking it up and giving it a shot. As always, I definitely appreciate y'all stop by to watch my videos. Thank you.